memory. A couple of days ago, I interviewed Sean for our YouTube channel. I think 110 million this year is the target. And at the end of the month, you'll be at about 80 million. Is that right, Sean?
I knew you were going to ask, so I just pulled up numbers. As of this moment, I'm 87 million, $23,347 funded. Currently, for this month, I'm ranked number 6 in our company with 13 million so far. So,
Dude,
life's
I
going
mean,
good.
so by the way, what just happened is incredibly unusual. I interviewed him 2 days ago and he did not have the numbers and he underestimated, like he actually, shortchanged himself 7 million for the year. And tell me what salesperson anyone knows that when you ask them what their production is, they like always exaggerate. They not purposely, but it's always more. And almost every time it's with Sean, it's like it's crazy how humble this guy is. Well, first of all, congratulations, brother. And did you say number 6 at cross country right now?
For the month, I'm number 26 for the year.
So how many loan officers are at cross country?
I don't know, thousands.
Yeah, over 2,000 guys, like elite. And to me, what's even more important is the quality in which he delivers advice and experience for his customers. He is all about knowing people at a human level. He's about knowing people and their finances. And then whether he does a loan for them or not, he just wants to give them transparency and advice on how they can build wealth with real estate, how they can make mortgage decisions that best suit them. Very, very elite mortgage advisor. So Sean, I mean, if we were on the Mortgage Coach channel, I think everybody knows you. I'm pretty sure everybody knows you here. But is there anything you want to position and like make sure people know about you before we just get into the topic at hand?
I think I always assume people kind of know of me now since I've done a few of these, but I'm a mortgage advisor in Northern California. Been originating since 2017. It's just me. One of my teammates is a loan assistant, I guess you would say, and then a shared processor. So my goal within our communities, whether it's Momentum Builder, Mortgage Coach, my goal is to help those that have reasons for why they're not doing the volume or helping the amount of people that they want to help. The way that I work is done in a way that I remove those excuses. If I can do it with a very small team and have a lot of fun doing it, like we love what we do, I want people to be like, damn, if Sean can do it, then I don't have any excuse either. And that's what I'm hoping people take away today. And I'm really glad we're doing this today, given a time when rates have gone up, when we all thought they were going down, and we're coming into the last 2 months of the year when everyone says it's slow. And that's a mindset choice. And I think the timing of this call is pretty great for everyone to go, okay, I've got 2 months to crush it, and I'm not going to accept anything else.
Yeah, and I want folks put your questions down below. I mean, this is an amazing community that Don and Gino and everyone that supports this community has created. I'm super pumped to see. Gosh, we've got a good number of folks. I recognize some names. For the folks I know, what's up? For the folks I don't know, it's great to meet you. Love meeting new people in the mortgage business. I haven't seen a question for Sean yet, so I got questions and I can take up the whole hour with my questions, but I just can't emphasize enough. This will be better experience for everybody if I get a couple questions from you guys. And the question after the question, like when I ask Sean a question and then there's another question, those are always going to be the best questions. So please make this the most interactive, engaging conversation that Momentum Builders has ever had. That's up to you guys as a crowd. So, by the way, Becky just threw in, curious what you're telling people about why rates are going up. Thank you, Becky.
Hi, Becky. Becky's one of our tiny crew as well. So we're changing that, by the way. It's the mindset crew now. But I'm telling them it's an election year. The data that's coming out, I don't think supports the reality of our economy. Just because a report says there's tons of jobs added, for everyone that's on this call, we look at everyone's most intimate finances every single day. The finances that I see every day aren't people that are like, this is a booming economy. It's, I need cash to pay taxes. I need to get out of debt. I'm scared. I want to buy a house on one income because we're scared one of us might get laid off. Those are not comments you get in a booming economy. So I use kind of client experiences and really what I just said as an example. And then I'm big on showing data. Becky knows that, but I'm big on show not tell and show not sell. And I'll show them what's going on with mortgage bonds and say, look, here's where we're at. Here's where we've gone. I think things normalize next year. And that's my opinion. That's my professional opinion. That being said, client, what do you think? And then whatever you decide based on data is the right answer.
Right on, right on. So I put a link to follow Sean on Instagram. If anyone on this call is not following Sean on Instagram, you need to. He is truly one of the most effective leaders in how he uses Instagram as a modern mortgage advisor. Like, it's very authentic. It's not your typical LO. But if you want to watch someone that is one of the nation's most successful loan officers that uses Instagram very strategically, in a way that kind of fits within his life and his business, and it actually helps him win trust and win. Like, follow this guy. Like, make sure you guys click and follow. So I'll chime in. What's up, Dustin? Maybe I'm not even going to get to any of my questions, but let's see what it goes. So what is your general bullet point list of things you share with listing agents or get your buyer's offer accepted over others? Great question, Dustin. Kill.
Thank you, Dustin. Another mindset crew. For me, it's confidence. I think confidence is more valuable than money. Not always, but a lot of the time, right? So we beat cash offers, we beat higher priced offers. So what I do is I send a video on every single offer that kind of gives them an idea. And I always think of the psychology of sellers, psychology of real estate agents, psychology of buyers. I think what we really do is fourth grade math and psychology. So we have to think of why do listing agents love cash offers? Because there's no lender in the mix to screw things up, right? We are the biggest variable in the transaction. So I acknowledge that right out of the gate. Hi, I'm Sean Herrero, the loan officer for Dustin. I know that the lender's biggest variable in transaction, and we just want to ensure that you and your clients have complete confidence. That being said, we have fully underwritten Dustin's loan. Income, assets, credit are fully reviewed. All income and documents have been updated. I'm an open book. I've been doing this for 23 years. I'm happy to answer your questions. Your clients are more than welcome to call me. I want to make sure everyone has a great experience. Thank you so much. That's basically the gist of the video. And that goes, it goes a long way. It doesn't work every single time. I lose all the time, but I think we win a lot more often by doing that. And then if I do lose, at least I just hopefully impressed another agent. Hopefully that listing agent goes, damn, no one else has done that. I need to talk to Sean because my lender doesn't do that for my buyers. That's the goal.
Love it. Love it. So I interviewed Sean on Tuesday. We'll put a link in chat to that interview. And it was all about marketing and personal branding as a modern mortgage advisor, and mindset was sprinkled throughout that. Highly recommend you guys check it out. But it's a really good segue to my first question, Sean. You've done a couple things. You've changed the name of that event that you've done for a couple years now, called the Tiny Event, because you really wanted to focus on how to be highly efficient and how you could do a lot of volume with a pretty small team. But you've changed the name to the Mindset Event. Why this obsession and focus? And we even named this, Mindset Matters. Like,
Yeah.
why are you doing all this? Why are you obsessing?
It was so doing this event. So this was the first year we did the Tiny Event. And so those of you that don't know, I started an event that basically I wanted to show people how to do a lot of volume with a very small team. I think that's kind of been our superpower. And so I started this event called the Tiny Event because you can do a lot with a little. And then what I realized is, and Dave helped me realize this, is that name kind of excluded a lot of people. Like, what if people have a big team and just want to learn to be more efficient? But more than anything, as I was marketing it and talking to LOs, I got to hear the fear of why they were scared to commit to the event. And what it really came down to is it's mindset. And I started thinking about, all the mortgage coach calls we do. Everybody wants tactics and sales and scripts. And none of that stuff works if you don't have the right mindset for it. And then like a lot of the people that I admire and hang out with are like in the SEAL community. And I realized I don't like them because they're these badass dudes that shoot guns and can do a gazillion, like work out really. I don't care about that stuff. I just know what their mindset is. And so I realized that like Dave's obsessed with impact, right? That's been his mantra for the year. And I realized that over everything, I'm obsessed with mindset and overcoming and doing things that we're not supposed to do. I think Elon Musk is such an incredible example of that. Like right before we jumped in this call, we were saying something about pessimist, and Sonia said, no, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. My wife says that all the time too. Well, what is realistic? Like, how do we define what's realistic? Elon Musk is doing a lot of things that we all think are completely unrealistic, but to him, it's totally fine, right? He doesn't have that mindset, right? And I don't think we should have limiting beliefs. So that is why I've really become obsessed with mindset. And that's why I changed the name. Is I need people to understand the tactics don't matter. What I do doesn't matter. If you go into it thinking the market sucks, you're not going to do what you're capable of. If you go into it going, I can find solutions no matter what the market is, you'll crush it no matter what.
I love the name change. I had also told him that I probably, if you had a shirt and it said tiny event, and I don't want to be on the tiny club. And so that was, I think, part of it too. I think that finally got him. He's like, oh, okay, I get where you're going here. And then he came up with mindset. And I'm like, I'm just waiting for my shirt, bro. Like when are we
Coming
gonna
soon.
get a cool mindset shirt?
Coming soon.
Coming soon, baby. All right. So let's get into what's working best right now. And I'm going to paint the market a certain way, Sean, but then I want you to, add your color. And then so here's how I see the market. Like for 38 years of my career, rates went down into the twos. And then in the most historic rise in history, rates went from in the twos to in the sevens. And 60% of America refinanced their house with a 2, 3, or a 4. And so the world has changed in the mortgage industry. 50% of mortgages are never going to be in the money for a rate and term chocolate and vanilla refi. Now, are some of those people going to move for various reasons? Absolutely. Are some of those people going to do debt consolidation for various reasons because it makes sense? Absolutely. Move up, move down. So there's still a lot of opportunity, but it's different. And then after 2 years of winter in the mortgage industry, truly the most difficult time for lenders, for folks, we thought we were going to have rates come down last year. What was it, like May 10th? And we got a full dead cat bounce. I mean, like, not only did they not go down, they went up. So like the industry is like still has a little bit of, post-traumatic stress syndrome from that. And then finally, we enter a new market, and we verified that because the Fed lowered the discount rate by not 2%, half. And we're like, new cycle, party's on. Some people have filled up their funnel. By the way, Sean, FYI, most people haven't. There's a mindset. Like some people are like, I'm a purchase loan officer. They don't have this client for life mentality mindset. And now rates gone up a little bit. We're out of the money.
Yep.
And there start to be a question about rates. So that's a description I have. What do you want to add to how you see the market? And then literally let's just start whittling down what is working best for you right now. And anybody chime in with the question after the question, or just something you want to make sure you get from Sean. I'll keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. So I think the cool thing about the last couple years, if I don't care if you've been in this industry for 20 years or for just the last two, we have experienced every market that has ever existed in the last 2 years. We've seen multiple offers on every single house. We've seen home sitting to where we use buy down programs and seller credits. We've learned how to use every tactic that exists in the mortgage industry. So I don't really care what the market does because I already know how to solve problems in any market. And really, if you've done this for more than 2 years, you do too. You've experienced every market. Dave always says advice over price. And I think that is what I do, is advice. So right now, in a market where people were waiting for rates to go down, like I remember seeing an article before the Fed rate cut that said the world like holding its breath, waiting for the US Fed rate cut. And we do it. And now, as of today, we basically have nothing to show for it. Rates are back to where they were in July. And so what do you do with that, right? How do you help people through what probably feels kind of hopeless? And again, I always come back to psychology and emotion, because real estate as in general is an emotional purchase, right? Finances are very emotional for a lot of people. So given what's happened, like Becky's original question, how do you explain what's happened with rates? That's what everyone wants to know. Like, what do I do? Am I screwed? Like, you have to help people through that. And I mean, for me, using Mortgage Coach as a tool is really a lot of what I do. Like, I want to come back to one thing Becky had asked about with, she's got a client in contract. She made him a TCA in Mortgage Coach, and now they've gone dark. I would ask them, say, hey, if you get any other quotes, let me know. Send me those quotes. I'll build them out in your buyer's guide site, and I'll show you what things look like. So the short answer for me is always provide great advice. Dave, what's Jeremy's tagline? Good people to deserve great advice, something like that.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Yeah.
good people deserve great advice with a lot of heart, a lot of skill, a lot of consistency at delivering that each and every day for 365 days a year for over a decade.
And if you think of how, if you wake, so let's just take Jeremy's tagline, good people deserve great advice. If you wake up in the morning every single day that you do this and you go, today, good people deserve great advice. It doesn't matter what the market is. If rates are low, I need to give people great advice today. If rates are high, I need to give people great advice today. I need to help people through their problems today. I need to solve their problems today. Then life gets really simple and really easy really quickly.
What, by the way, guys, what is, if you had a tagline, I know my tagline, and I'll put it in here in a minute after I see some of you, but if you had like a sentence or a couple sentences that you're building a brand around, that's your value proposition, that you want people to think of when they think of you, what is that? I'll share mine. I also know, I'll give Sean a chance to answer it, but I also know one of his kind of positioning statements. Right now, someone put it in. Sean and I aren't going to talk anymore until someone puts something in. We're going to get engagement, even if we have to force it. Um, someone, one of the tiny crew, one of the mindset crew. Come on, help us out. Becky, I'm going to pick on people. Dustin, um, Chris, Sean, Chuck, Karina, Katrina. Sorry about that. Michael, someone making financing fun again. Woo! I love that, man. What do you think about that one, Sean?
I love it. Mine's make a
I saw
mortgage great
one
again.
recently making fun. What's that?
I have hats that say make a mortgage great again.
Yeah, yeah, making. So let me guys, I'll tell mine last. Let me show you what Sean's, or a couple of what Sean's are. And again, folks, if you have not already followed this guy, make sure you follow him on Instagram. So this is my phone, and this is me following Sean. So Sean, the most authentic real estate advice. By the way, if you follow Sean, does he deliver on that? Like, use the little reaction button down below. And if you have followed Sean, does he embody that? Like, yeah, look at it. Stars, thumbs ups, boom. I help renters become homeowners. Anybody that follows Sean, just does he embody that? Come on, guys. Not as many thumbs up on that one, Sean.
It's
All right.
not. I'll work harder.
Maybe I overused it.
I'll work harder.
Yeah. And Sean, before I share mine, like, if you've known me for a long time, and you don't have, I think you know what I'm going to say, but so don't try to like say what I'm going to say. But what what do you think of when you think of me, and how I've positioned myself in the industry?
So I think you are absolutely obsessed with impact. Like, without a doubt. And I just have that one top of mind because you've said it so many times this year. But the way I see you is as completely purpose driven, like every morning waking up with purpose and passion, because you've done this countless times for years. You don't need to do this anymore, and you continue to pour into our community. And I think that just speaks to, if you don't have purpose, I don't know what the purpose of this business is.
Love that. Love that. So, I mean, here was mine once upon a time when I was a loan officer. And the thing is, here we are 38 years later. I started in like 86. And this was a defining moment in my life. It was 1992. I was actually doing a brochure. I had hired Hobbs and Herder. I was going to pay him I paid him $25,000. And this was a photo shoot. And on this multiple page color brochure, like this was the tagline, my advice makes a difference. And I was trying to look like a guy whose advice makes a difference. And then I became a guy whose advice made a difference. I mean, founding mortgage coach was a tool so that like my advice made a difference and it was visually obvious to people. So guys, I want you to have an optimized mindset. Part of it is just like being a growth oriented person. Part of it is not being a bitter person. And then part of it is business strategy, like client for life. Like I want to serve clients. And then part of it is like I want to be someone whose advice truly makes a difference. And then one last word, beyond the transaction. Because here's the deal, guys. Technology is here. People can fill out apps on mobile phones. We've all seen what AI looks like. And if your value prop is I have great rates, I can close loans quickly, uh, that can be automated. In fact, that is being automated. And so you need to have a value prop beyond that. And that means you need to have a mindset beyond that. Any thoughts on that, Sean?
Um, yeah, I think I'm just looking at like Dustin said, my advice makes a difference. And I want um on the subject of mindset, I really want people to start thinking about why they do this and what they want their life to look like. And I have one example since I pulled my numbers today, and I never look at numbers because the numbers don't matter to me. What I've done is in the past. Like I'm always looking forward. It's like, okay, cool, that loan closed. Like who's next? Who's next? Like I'm always looking forward. But we were at our sales rally last week, and I'd never been to one. I went to the first one, or my first one, and I remember sitting in the big auditorium with like 1,000 other loan officers, and I kind of got like, I should be better than this. And I looked up my numbers and I texted my sister who works with me and I said, we're number 37 right now. We need to be number 20 by the end of the year. Like I'm not ending this year not being in the top 20 at this company. And that thought triggered solutions. As of today, I'm at 26. So I moved up 10 spots since I said that, right? And that thought triggered other things. Then I looked at my pipeline and said, okay, here's my loans. How do I move these faster? Once you create that vision, your mindset will show you what to do. And all you have to do is take action on it, right? And that's what I kind of am hoping people see is like, as soon as you identify what you want, I'm not going to say 2025 to be, I don't care about 2025. I want you to know what your 2024 is going to look like, because 60 days, you can do so much in 60 days. What do you want to get the rest of this year, and then go do it? And I just think that's kind of where my head's been.
Yeah. And before I move off this topic, I want to just close out something that I want everyone who's on today's call to write. Like if you have something like Sean, the best advice, authentic advice on real estate, great. If you have good people deserve great advice, I was on site with Jeremy a few weeks ago, and this was a little chat that we did, a little 7-minute video on good people deserve great advice and why. But do not let this day go by where you don't write down a sentence that represents you. It doesn't have to be the end all. Like Sean already has it. I already have it. Jeremy already has it. Some of you already have it. I want you to have a phrase that I want you to write down that is a positioning statement for you in the market. It's something that you would put on LinkedIn. If it's not already something that you use in marketing, I want something written down by the end of the day. And then I want you to start unpacking how well you're executing on that, because great people or good people deserve great advice is only extraordinary, empowers Jeremy to be extraordinary because of how well he executes on that, how in love he is with that passion, all the skills that he has that roll around it. Sean, his value proposition, authentic, great authentic advice on real estate. It's only great because of who he is, how he shows up on Instagram, how he shows up in person with people, the skills and advice. And I really want you to put a lot of thought into how are you doing, and how are you executing on that value prop. Sean, we got about, we're at the halfway point, and I think we've covered something really high level, and we've given some good advice. Hopefully we've given some inspiration, and we've given some direction strategically.
Mhm.
In this next half hour, how do we, do you want to give tactical ideas to
Yeah.
people? Do you want to give them ideas on how to better execute it at that high level strategy? Mindset matters, how to master it.
I think we can do both. So Troy and Chris have like a little chat going on. So Troy said, because I think this segue is perfect. I'm known as the solutions guy. The problem with building my career around that is that I only get thrown the crap deals to be solved and never the cookie cutter borrowers. How do you shift from the solution market to getting the cookie cutter referrals? Um, Troy, this is a mindset thing I'm about to say that's very scary for all of us. Tell those realtors you don't want to work with them anymore. If the only thing they're going to give you are these impossible deals, and you don't want those deals, that's not what you want your business to look like, then you have to be willing to let go of that business and make room for other things. And that's very counterintuitive, but it's we choose how we're seen by our community, and our community is everyone around us. So a tactic would be, hey, I appreciate everything you've done, but I just don't have the bandwidth to only deal with your tough deals anymore. I'm really focused on the relationships I have. And they're going to be like, wait, what? No. You're not leaving me. It's very psychological. It's scary, but oftentimes it works. And then there's times that it doesn't work. And that does truly free you up to go find what you actually want.
So I'm going to agree and challenge that
Yep.
advice. So I'm going to agree that you need to create a boundary, and you need to have a conversation with those realtors if you want to change your narrative. But I want to use a word called constructive tension. And who was it? Was it Chris or Troy? Who said that?
That was Troy's.
Troy, if on a scale of 1 to 5, you step into constructive tension with people really well and really often, and on a scale of 0, like you dodge those hard conversations, just let us know if you want. Like, I'm not going to badger you on it, but I would love, okay, so you're 5. So cool. So, and here is something that Sean does really well. Jeremy does really well. When I interview the most elite people, when I just observe in life, they step into constructive tension. I don't think, where I disagree is, I don't think you need to, the next conversation is that, hey, I can't do these tough deals. I think hey, I am super grateful for this business, and I love solving problems and doing difficult business like this. By the way, I would ask them, how would you, find out, what do they think of you, on a scale of 1 to 5, when it comes to having a really difficult deal like this, how confident are you, me versus other loan officers, that I can execute? So first of all, get buy-in that they respect you and that they feel comfortable with the type of business that you want. And then like, hopefully they say yes. You may learn that, yeah, you're good, but you weren't that good. Like, find out how you're feeling, and then go, well, to do that kind of business, at scale and over time, I need partnership. And now you just lean into the people, like, hey, to earn relationships and for people to know how good I am, I will just do anything to get the foot in the door. But now that I know that I have your respect, and that I can do that kind of business, I need partnership, and let them know, and partners of mine, they sell more homes. Like, because I give this solution, because I give that value, you're going to get more business. So then give them a little bit of like, so at the end of the day, they know you can do the tough deals. They know that you can do this, and they know that you need partnership. But I wouldn't like fire them. I would try to pivot them versus just go into fire mode.
Well, and it depends. I'm always harsher on these. I wouldn't say it. I would say
I
it
know
like
you
Dave
would. I
said
know
it.
you wouldn't, but we're
Dave
giving
has
this
better
person
words than
some
I do.
advice, man.
But no, I think the other thing I would say is what's your, how have you positioned your value proposition? Like if your value is I get tough deals done, you'll get tough deals. But if the value, I would lean into what Dave said is your clients, whether it's the easiest loan on the planet or the toughest loan, you're going to get more referrals because of the process that I've created. Like I have created a remarkable experience for your clients. And then it's another shift. And that's more of like what Dave said is the value has to be different. The proposition has to be different. And we choose how we show up. I'll come back to what Todd Duncan said I think this was 2 years ago at Momentum Builder. And he said we all needed to go home and onboard our realtors, our existing realtors. And I go, I don't have an onboarding. Like my thought immediately was, what does that mean? I don't have an onboarding process. And I was like, that's probably his point. And that stood out to me that was 2 years ago. And that's still stuck in my head to where it's like, okay, if I'm meeting with this realtor, I'm meeting with two realtors on Monday. I need to go into that meeting with, this is what we do to make you look like a superstar. And this is what I need you to do with me for this to work. And that's part of that onboarding process. But we have to think about what that is. It's individualized. It's different for all of us.
Yeah, and I'm gonna play a little 1 minute clip from an interview I did with Jeremy not too long ago, uh, with his value proposition for realtors. And Sean, I don't know exactly what he says, but this also might be helpful to you. So listen to how Jeremy is setting expectations and delivering value, and I think it will also really help you reimagine those relationships. Have your version of this value prop.
And here's how you find out where you're valuable. It's actually really easy, is that when you're looking from a market standpoint, you just have to look at what problems do I solve on a daily basis. For realtors, it's really, really simple, is I just want to make sure that I can help them generate more referrals, right, through my client care program. So it's like, listen, something that is unique about me is that we have a client care program, right? We're going to help you generate way more referrals through our proven process. And I'd love to show you that. It goes without saying that we're going to communicate great. We're going to close smooth and on time. And we're going to make you look awesome. That's my number one job. My number two job is to make sure that we can set you up to get the most referrals possible from the people that we serve. And I'd love to show you the way that we do that so I can help you close more deals in less time. For consumers, it's really, really simple as well. It's just that, and I've said this a million times on here, is that I want to make sure that people produce the right strategy to help them accumulate wealth through great advice and responsible homeownership. The reason I'm so passionate about this is because I was given very poor advice early on in my home buying process, and I made a lot of mistakes and early on in my career. So I want to make sure you don't make the same mistakes, and we get you set up with the right strategy to have the best price and cost over time to help you accumulate wealth.
So unpack that
Yeah.
for who was it that said it? Because I almost think some of that strategy kind of overlaid with the advice we've have
Yeah.
could not only help Troy, but could help everybody just reimagine their relationships with their current partners.
Well, no, I think he said it. So Jeremy said his client care program, like he's created a product for his experience, right? And I think that's what everybody needs to do is your loan process needs to become a client experience, and then you can come up with a clever name for it. But if you think of what Jeremy's, I'll call it a script. I hate that word, but what the video we just saw, I'm sure he says with a lot of his partners, what was his value? His value wasn't I get hard deals done. It wasn't I close in 12 days. It was because of the way we work, you are going to get more referrals. So if you're the agent hearing that, are you going to refer the hard deals or are you going to refer everyone? And I think that's what's so powerful about his little 1 minute message.
Yeah. So guys, we got 20 minutes left. If you have questions, get them in here so I can get to them. We want to be as valuable as we can be to you guys. So with 20 minutes left, Sean, let's give people some like loan now tactics. I mean, clearly you decided, hey, I want to be in the top 20, and you
Yep.
probably like, how can I get more loans now?
Mhm.
And then if you were speaking to your mindset slash tiny event crew,
Mhm.
which clearly you are, some of those people are on the call. What what are just loan now? Like we gotta have a Merry Christmas, bro. Like what can
Yeah.
people do to get some loans now?
So I would work obviously. So most of my business is referral, like large majority of my business is referral. Um, Realtors need your help right now because their clients are hitting the sidelines because this is the slow time of year, because interest rates went up, because the media is saying everyone should wait until after the election. Those are problems that we can solve for them right now. They don't need to learn how to translate. I would meet with and say, look, here's what your clients are hearing, because I hear it from everybody. And here's how we're solving that problem. With the tools I use to create my client experience, we are getting more people into contract faster. That will create more referrals, right? And then I would offer quicker closes, regardless of the market. So whatever your quickest close is, whether it's a competitive situation, we all know a quick close can win because a seller wants faster money when it's competitive. But even if it's a home that's just been sitting on the market, we don't go into those thinking that we should offer a quick close because there's no competition. I'll just do a 30-day close. But that seller's been in pain, right? By offering a faster close, they may be more inclined to accept an offer with a bigger credit, to accept an offer at a lower price, because at least our pain will end. And that gets you paid for Christmas faster. So that's what I would do on the real estate side is I can only focus on what I can control. I have to let go of everything else. If I get a lot of pre-approvals, I can't I can't control how quickly those pre-approvals get into contract, but I can show the opportunity that exists in the fall that we know we see every single year. I can show realtors and I can show clients how to take advantage of that. On the refi side of things, having rates go up the way they did, if you're not doing mortgage reviews for your clients, your past clients, you're doing a disservice by going through in a moment where they're like, everyone's feeling like things have gone sideways. If you went through and did mortgage reviews saying, hey, here's what your current mortgage looks like. Here's where mortgage rates are today, whether they're higher or lower, doesn't matter. And you go, here's where you're at today. We're keeping a close eye on this to ensure that when the right rate shows up, we're going to help you get through that. You have those conversations now. And one thing you're doing is making sure they don't go shop somewhere else. You're making sure that they know as a homeowner, I don't even need to worry about interest rates because Sean has me covered. I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to wait for him to send me my new mortgage review. And then you find out what's important to them. How much money do you want to save monthly to make this worthwhile? So people need advice. Like we'll keep coming back to that word advice, but those are the two things that I am doing right now is, hey, we missed the window on your refinance, but it's going to come back. When it does, because we see how quickly things can shift, what do you want me to do in that situation? Let's get your application in now and updated. That way we can move really quickly. You can tee up a lot of transactions to close really quickly if we have a small window open.
Okay, so I'm going to give you another loan now idea. And if anyone, hey, from the audience, you want to give like, do this and you'll get loans now. Now, this idea I'm going to share, I guarantee Sean has heard it. And I also think there's a pretty good idea that he may not be doing it right now. Like it's one of those ideas that's easy to do, but it's easier not to do. And it's something we all forget about. This is also an idea that I don't think of all the loan now ideas I've shared from a stage, I've ever had one where more people emailed me afterwards and go like, holy shit, it worked. Like, thank you, Dave. I got a loan. Like, this is an idea that could get you loans today, like today. It came from a site visit with Jeremy. And we all know the idea of asking people for referrals. Hey, would you like refer me? Like we do that. I would make the case we don't do it enough, but Jeremy has a really cool sequence. We'll put a link to this little one and it's less than 2 minute video. We'll put a link so you can hear it from Jeremy. But here's the sequence. He waits for someone in process to say thank you. So Sean, think of all the loans where clear to close, approval, and people are going to like be saying thank you. right? Like how often do people tell you thank you while they're in process? Like multiple times a week, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I want you, and by the way, guys, don't edit this. Like do it just like Jeremy. Subject line, have a template. We love helping you. Remember, they just said thank you to. Can you help me with something? My goal is to work with more people I like. Can you introduce me to two people I should know or that I can help right now? Jeremy tells me every time I interview him, he's like, I'm still doing that. It's my highest conversion script. And and he'll tell you, I've got 4 loans in the process right now from that script. Uh, so guys, like most people on this call, you have loans in process. Let's take a screen share of that. Actually, I'll copy and paste it. I'll put the script in here. What do you, have you ever tried that script, or have you heard that before? Or is that the first time you've heard that?
I have heard that. I have heard that. I
Have you
don't
ever
do
tried
it.
it?
No.
You
I will.
will
I
you
will.
experiment?
Yeah. It's like it's not me, but I'll give it a
Well,
shot.
do your version.
No,
How
I
about
know.
this?
I know. I just I
Do
don't
your version and then do Jeremy's.
no, I no, I definitely I could that is something I could absolutely be better about. I'm not good at asking anyone for anything. Like that's just an insecurity that I have is that I just feel like if I show my value, then everything falls into place. But to Dave's point, I'm probably missing a lot of opportunities because I'm not asking for something. But I don't ask for anything
Well,
in life in
yeah,
general.
I'm going to talk Sean into doing this right now, everybody. So you'll
All
watch
right,
a
I'll
little.
do it. I'll
So
do it.
no, but I'm not done. I want you to not think about you. Do you think you are truly the best loan officer in your market? Like, do you feel like if someone talks to
Oh yeah,
you, they are better off? So think
absolutely.
about, because you're not answering that question, asking that question, and people aren't telling you about their friends, that you're basically screwing all those people. Like all those people that could have got introduced to you are not getting introduced to you, and they're getting bad, not as good as advice and not as good of mortgage experience. So why are you screwing people in your neighborhood?
So I will agree with that logic because last year, this time of year, everyone says it gets slow. And I said, screw that. I'm not going to accept that as my reality anymore. I'm going to do 10 million a month in October, November, December, because I know there's transactions happening. And because I'm not a part of those transactions, people aren't getting the best advice and service. And that pisses me off. So I will take Dave's approach. Yeah, I think Dave,
Well,
I
by the
think
way,
you
this
make
is Jeremy's approach. This isn't
yeah,
mine
yeah, yeah.
approach.
No, but
Yeah, like
you're challenging me to do something that's uncomfortable for me because I'm scared to I won't ask anyone for anything in like all aspects of my life, right? It's an insecurity that I have. So Dave's pushing me out of my comfort zone because I'm making the assumption that if I do an incredible job for people, they're automatically going to tell their friends. And we all know that's not true, right? I get
no,
referred a
definitely,
ton.
definitely not true.
I went trap shooting with a client of mine last week and he pulled this out of his pocket. He's like, hey, this we were just talking to this realtor friend of ours and she wants you to call her. Like that's what I expect everyone to do, but that's probably the exception to the rule. The norm is they don't think of us because I'm not making them think of us.
Boom. All right. So who else is gonna try that script today? Give me a little reaction. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a clap. One person, two people, three, four, five, heart, heart, boom. All right. And I'm gonna
All
put
right.
my email. If anybody does it, uh, here's my email address. And you get a lead. You actually get some referrals. Trust engine. Email me. Let me know. I want to know if that still works. I'm telling you, I've shared it from a lot of stages. It's been a long time since I shared it, but we need loans now. Christmas is coming. What's another loan now idea, bro?
Okay, so I just saved that as a signature in my email. So the next thank you I get, that is going to be my auto reply. Like
Okay.
verbatim. I just copied. We're going to test this out. I copied exactly what you text. So
Well, remember part of that subject line and then that.
I did that. I saved
Yeah.
it as a draft and I also saved it as a signature.
Yeah.
And my signature says,
Anybody who knows Jeremy on the call, let him know that we've been talking about him and let him know that Sean just said he's gonna use Jeremy's script. So if anybody
ugh,
knows Jeremy and his mobile number, let
hate
him
that
know
word.
that we're saying good things about him. and he's adding value and he's not even in the room.
And I don't like, do we need, okay, so we've given 3 ideas, right? 3 completely separate ideas. One, how to meet with more realtors and offer more value in the time of year where everybody can get a deal. And that's one strategy, to go get more realtor referrals and active transactions for home buyers right now. How to help people through their refinance opportunities, setting them up right now, knowing that rates will come down eventually and where they're teed up and ready to go. And then 3, asking for referrals, like from your past clients, from people who are saying thank you. Those are 3 tactics in 3 different environments, right? New purchase, potential refi, and referral. Those are 3 separate buckets. Do we need more tactics than that? Or do we need to take action on the 3 things that are right in front of us? Like, I could give you tons of tactics. I could talk about doing Instagram videos to drive more traffic to landing pages. We could talk about doing cash out. I mean, credit cards are at 30% coming into Christmas. People are tapped out. Could they access their equity to do a cash out debt consolidation refinance to be prepared for that? There's so many different angles. And I think sometimes the overwhelm is what stops us from taking action on what's right in front of us.
Well, I'm going to add on to that. And actually, let's not give another idea. Let's spend the last 10 minutes. First of all, hopefully someone will ask a question and we'll answer it. And 2, helping people do what they know that they already do, like what you already need to do. And then I also want people to identify best practices. So Sean, first of all, he just shared that I already sent it to 4,100 clients. And by the way, that's awesome. Please email me and let me know if you get some leads. I do want to call out, that's not exactly the strategy, because
Right.
part of what makes this gold is that the strategy is someone just is in business with you. You're part of their day to day, and you just did something that they said thank you, like, or a version of that. Like, you could just feel like, yeah, we got approved. Yeah, our house closed. You know, it was a moment of gratitude. And in that moment of gratitude, you sent them a personal email that didn't come out of automation. You sent a personal email that, can you help me with something? You know, I want to work with more people that I like. So I do want to make sure, Sean, you got the idea. Because and that's important. And that's, by the way, that's the difference between best practices and there's ideas. And the difference between ideas and execution of a best practice can really be a big thing. So that's one thing. And then Troy, well, Sean's got something.
Well, no,
Special
I
guest
think so.
wants to talk.
No. I think this is a really good point. So, you have, like, I'm going to come back to the emotion. When somebody is taking the time to either call, text, or email you a thank you, they're taking time out of their day to show gratitude, right? Think of the emotion of the reaction will be much more likely to get what you're asking for when they're feeling that emotion of gratitude. When you do a blanket email to 4,100 people and they just get it randomly and go, oh, the emotion's not there. I don't think it works as well. So just to Dave's point, the tactic is tied to an emotion, and I think it's and I'm going to say tied to authenticity. You're doing it in a time, even though it is a script. I hate to call it that, but it's what it is. You're doing it in a moment where you're giving yourself the most opportunity to get something out of it.
Yeah. But I also think, as we go into the end of the year, sending out an email to your database asking for a referral, if I was a loan operator today, right now, I would do that. And by the way, that's another, the little ask, send that email at the right time and moment. But heck, why not? You know, I might do it. Actually, it's fine the way it is. So hit them both. I just wanted to call that out. Not to say you shouldn't do that. So have you read Troy's comment here? I'll be real. Have you read that yet, Sean?
Yeah.
Speak to that.
I mean,
Everybody read Troy Williams. It starts with "I'll be real," and then the last sentence is, "But is it true fear of mine, or should I stay true? Should I say true lack of confidence?" So read that.
yeah. So I think it's 2 things. So one, Troy, you said you're the solutions lender, but you're scared of not being able to find a solution, or that you've missed something that makes the deal go sideways. things happen, deals go sideways all the time, right? And we find ways through it. I think that's part of being the solutions lender, is having a mindset of confidence of, even if I make a mistake, and every single person on this call makes mistakes, I make countless mistakes. But I know that I'm the smartest person to solve the problem when it comes up. So give yourself like a mantra, a level of confidence. And I think that mindset also takes you into a place of being like, okay, I just got this new deal. I'm not giving out anything until I have income, assets, credit fully reviewed. Everything's dialed in. I'm going to front load the process. I'm going to do more work up front to do less work later. And if you do that, the odds of something coming up are dramatically, there probably won't be anything, right? But I would turn that fear into my why.
Yeah. And Troy, my last thought on that is I would be humble with yourself. And when I asked, hey, do you step into constructive tension easily? And like you attack the obstacle, you said 5 out of 5, which is like crazy good. But yet you just said something that conflicts with you being a 5 around constructive tension. Like there's an incongruency with that. And so I would just do some meditating on that. I would do some journaling on that. And I mean, I don't give myself a 5, and I do think I step into that. So I just do some self-thought on that. And but by the way, in emotional intelligence, if you can name it, you can tame it. And the fact that you can name this obstacle that's creating a glass ceiling for you, you're on the way to a solution, brother. And thank you for making this call more valuable for everybody.
Yeah.
So let's close out on Tanya's
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah. So Tony said, do I think that social media presence helped me significantly generate more leads than actual referrals from agents the past couple of years? I will say that having a presence online since I started it has absolutely helped me close far more business. And I don't get a lot of buyer leads from my social media. I say none of my business comes from social media, but all of my business comes from social media, because I think it's social proof. People can, let's just say I was doing a client Zoom. I am Sean. Nice to meet you. Here's how I work. Thanks so much. If you guys want to interview me without talking to me, I put educational videos all over the internet. You can look me up on Google, and my Instagram and my YouTube will probably come up. I used to say that at the end of my calls, and people would do it. And then it's like, okay, I like this guy. I know what he's talking about. I'm going to choose him. So yes, social media has absolutely, I'm going to say indirectly helped me, but I get referrals from realtors that I've never met because they like my approach on social media.
So, and the last question that we're going to hit is Becky. She said, what are your best recommendations when you need a reset, a mindset shift? You need to refocus. When you get knocked down, what do you do? So I'll answer that first, and then we'll let Sean give closing thoughts. So there's 2 practices that I practice when I do that. And part of it is wherever I'm feeling fear or anger, whatever that is, I try to replace it with gratitude. You notice I use the word try. Sometimes that's easier to say, but if you can just think gratitude, and then whoever said I go walk around the block, like get outside. Like there is something that happens when you are outside, and when you walk and you're outside and you're replacing fear and issues with gratitude, shit gets better. Sean, what's your advice?
Well, I'm going to say, Becky, I thought we already overcame that earlier this year, but if you're feeling that way again, I think it's finding purpose, right? Like, what is the purpose in this? I like what Dave said. As soon as we get to a point of, I think this is a Joe Dispenza thing that I've really learned this year, is when we start to hear the negative voice in our head, we can turn those things away by just simply saying what we're grateful for, and your mood will change almost immediately. Not every time, but a lot of the time. And that's what I do. Just like Dave said, just go straight into gratitude. Kind of go back to what Joel Turner said too, that thoughts are not thinking. If you haven't seen that one, Dave and I did an interview with Joel Turner a couple of weeks ago that I thought was really good. But basically, those negative thoughts can be overcome by your words, because thoughts happen automatically. Thinking takes effort. And when you speak out loud, you have to think about what you're saying. So verbal self-talk out loud, like talking to yourself, can overcome that as well.
Positive
Positive.
self-talk.
All positive, yeah.
If you are, talking about the problem, you're complaining and you're talking out loud, you're amplifying the negativity.
Mhm.
And if you're talking about something that gives you peace, big time stuff. And I love what Sean said, because at the end of the day, the reason why I've never been more obsessed with impact is I'm on a mission. And when I was a loan officer, I was on a mission, as the founder of Mortgage Coach. I've been on a mission to change how people get into debt in America. I'm on a mission. So get on a mission, think big. Hopefully, we did okay. If you know Don and Gino's mobile number, let them know how Sean and Dave did. And I could tell you on behalf of Don and Gino, like, you being active in this community means everything to them. Like, they're obsessed with impact. They love to help people. They're two of the best human beings in the mortgage space. So, keep coming into this community, being interactive. Sean and I are grateful for you guys. And thank you for all the nice reactions and all the questions. And Sean Herrero, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, Linda, where was your question earlier? You can't ask that question with 2 minutes left. Buyer's agent comp. I mean, Dave and I have covered that through and through since like February of this year. So you can go to the Mortgage Coach community and watch. Dave's done countless videos on that. So I just appreciate you all taking the time. Go crush the end of this year. Don't wait for 2025. Like, have November goals, have December goals. Don't worry about 2025 yet.
Yeah. And Linda, if you go to trustengine.com 10x, at the top of that, the 3 videos that are at the top, I literally have a playlist with over 20 videos on that, but those are the 3. Just watch one of those. So Trust Engine 10x, trustengine.com 10x, and everybody have a good one. Take care. Sean Herrero, always love collaborating with you, bro.
Thanks for having me, dude.
All right, later, bro.
Bye, you guys.
Cheers.